Okay, so in this video, I said in the last one that we are going to be looking at lists. Now, it's a slightly more advanced topic, so none of these videos and tasks are going to be helping you for the quiz. You should already be at the point now where you can do the quiz and hopefully get quite good marks in it. But it's just nice to push yourselves to go a bit further and learn a bit more about computer science and how we program using certain data structures, and lists are quite an important one. So a list is a very useful way of storing multiple bits of data together in the same place. So we can then refer to that data through the list itself. So what I mean is you might have some similar data, maybe it's a lot of names, and you want to keep them in the same place. Instead of having a variable name1 and then a variable called name2 and name3 and so on, we can just have a list called names. And in our list, we've got all those different names. So it's much easier than having a load of variable names to store lots of data. We can store them all in one list and say, okay, I want item 1 of lists, item 2 of lists, and so on, of names, sorry, and so on. So let's get on to the tasks. So task 5.1, create a list called names. So that's the name of the list in Scratch, and add 5 names to the list. Okay, you may already know how to do this, so you can pause now and do it if you already know how to do it. If not, then I'll show you. So if I open up Scratch, so in Scratch, you know already now how we add variables to store data. So if I click on the variables icon, you can see we've got the usual variable blocks, but underneath those, we also have a button called Make a List. So if I click on Make a List, in the same way as naming a variable, I can name a list. And usually convention is you start with a lowercase letter. So I'm just going to call it names. And once you've done that, you can see on the screen that you've got a list has appeared. It's just empty. And then on the left, you've got a load more blocks that you can now use, all to do with the lists and the ones that you've created. So the task asks me to add 5 names to my list. And there's a couple of ways to do this in Scratch. So the first way, which is the quickest way, is if you click on the actual list in the screen, on the stage, sorry, if you click on the plus, it adds an entry. And you can type in anything. So I'll type in Luke. If I press enter, then it adds another entry for me, so I can type in another name. So you can just repeat this to add 5 names to your list. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, if I want to delete lists, delete the entries in a list, I click these crosses. You can actually do it through the program, so you can get the program to add the names itself. If I put when the green flag is clicked, then I can use the add block. If I zoom in a bit. So it says add thing to names. If I click the green flag, it's going to add the word thing. So it adds whatever text is in here. So I could do it like this. I could put add Luke to it. When I copied and pasted, then it actually did the program. There you go. It's not doing it this time. So you can do it this way as well. I can't remember who else I had. I think it was someone called Sam. If I delete the 2 that are there now. Now when I click the green flag, it runs this code and adds all these names to the list. Okay, and if you want it to be different every time, the problem is if I run this again, because I'm only using the add instruction, it's just going to add to what's already there. So if I click the green flag again, now I've got 10 names, it's repeated them. So if you only want to have the ones that you've got there, you don't want it to always add to the current list, then you can use delete all of at the start. So the first thing it does is it clears the whole list and then only adds the ones I've told it to afterwards. So now whenever I press the green flag, it's always going to have just whatever I've added after I've deleted all the names. Okay, so that's the first task. Task 5.2, get a character to say each of the names in the list, one after the other. Okay. Again, a couple of ways you can do this. So I'm going to leave this here, and after I've added all the names, I'll then write the code for the character to say them. So, what do I want to do? So if I just started putting the blocks, I want him to say the first name first. Okay, we'll build this up bit by bit. Now, I said earlier, lists are good because you can refer to the items in the list through the list itself rather than having lots of variable names. If I had a variable name, I could put the block in here and it would say whatever was stored in that variable. So to do that with lists and the items stored in a list, you'll find a block in the lists category, in the variables category, the red ones, item 1 of names, and you can change that value there. If I put that in there, now it's going to say whatever item 1, so what's number 1 in the list, which is Luke. So this block is going to be Luke, and it'll say my name for 2 seconds. Okay. So the task wants me to do this for all 5, one after the other. So you could build it up like this. I do item 1, then I do item 2, then I do item 3. So each time it's going through the list, it does item 1, which is Luke, then it does item 2, which is John, and so on, and it says all the names. So this is one way of doing the task. And as always, there's always multiple ways of doing, of writing certain programs in when you're programming. And usually you're always looking for the best way, the most efficient way of doing it. Now, because you guys have done loops already, you'll probably realize I'm repeating a lot of the same instructions here. I'm doing say 5 times in a row, and only a number is changing. Just this value is changing, and it's going up by 1 every time. So if I just run the program, we'll see it works. It does what we want it to do, but we can be a bit more clever about how we do it. So have a think, what can we use so that we can change its value every time? And then, so it goes up by 1 every time, so that it'll actually run this without me having to go in myself and type in the value each time. Okay, and what you can use is a count variable. So I'm going to call it count. And this is just going to count from 1 up to 5. So before it starts, I'm going to set my count to 1. And then what do I want to do in between each of these? Well, I want to change the count by 1. Because I want it to say number 1 to start off with. I want count to be 1. But then the next time, I want it to be 2. So if I want that to happen, I need to change my count in between. Change count by 1. So it starts off at 1. I say item 1. Then I add 1 to it. So the next time I say item 2. And this, again, will repeat. You just repeat the process over and over again. So it says 3. And then you do it again. So it says 4. But hopefully you're realizing that, again, this isn't very efficient because I'm still putting the same kind of blocks over and over again. I've replaced the numbers and used a variable to do it, but we can still be a bit more clever about how we do this. So let's just prove that this works. So it says Luke, and you can see as we're going through, the count is going up. Item 3, item 4, item 5. So again, lots of repeating the same blocks. We're saying an item, we're changing the count, we're saying an item, we're changing a count. So these 2 instructions, say and change, are repeating. So to make this even more efficient again, we just need to use a repeat block. So I only need these 2 first ones. So these, I can just delete them. I don't need that. And how many times do I want to repeat? Well, I know I want to repeat it 5 times. Okay? Because there's 5 items in my list. I could put 5 here. And that will work. I'm saying an item. Well, first setting it to 1. Saying the item 1. Changing it by 1. Saying item 2. Changing it. Saying item 3. And it'll do it 5 times. Let's see if it works. David, Casey, and Sam. And it stops. That works, which is brilliant. But say I had a list and then I decided, oh, I forgot someone's name. I actually wanted 6 names. So what I do is I add in another name there. Kieran. I don't know where that name came from. What's the problem with this? Is this program going to say every one of those names now? So the issue we have now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. And I had repeat 5. I said only do it 5 times. So because I changed the length of the list, I would need to change the length of the repeat as well. Which isn't a nice thing to have to do. If I wanted to keep adding names to it, I'd have to change 2 things. But again, we can be more clever, and there's one little thing we can do to fix this and make it even more efficient again. So this value 5 is always so the value in here is always going to be the same as the length of the list. So how many items are in the list? So what I can do is I can use this red block in the lists blocks, length of names. So now, whatever the length of the list is, that's how many times it repeats. Okay, so with that, it would now go through and include Kieran at the end. Okay, so that's how you would do task. I forgot which task it was. 5.2. Okay, task 5.3. We write a program that inserts all the numbers from 0 to 10 into a list called numbers. Okay, so this one's different because we don't have a list of names. We want a list of numbers. So it doesn't make sense to have a list called names. So I'm going to delete that list. And to delete a list in Scratch, you right click on the names block, the list there, and delete the names list. And it says, are you sure you want to delete all of the uses of the names variable, so all these blocks? And it removes anything to do with that list. Okay. I'm going to delete that as well. And we want to make a list called numbers this time. So now we've got a different list called numbers. And we want to insert all the numbers from 0 to 10 into that list. Where am I? There. So I need to put all the numbers from 0 to 10 into this list. Now, it doesn't mean for you to do it manually. Just click plus 0, then press enter, then press 1, and so on. We want the program to add the numbers in itself. So how can we do that? Well, remember we have this count variable. We want it to start at 0. So what we could do is we can then just add the count in. And then next thing, I want to add 1. So I could change the count by 1 and then add count again. So it's going to add that to the list. So first it's going to put 0 in. So it adds 0. Then it changes it by 1, so the count is now 1, and it adds 1 to the numbers. Now can you see what's going to happen? We're repeating the same 2 steps over and over again, just like in the last task. So what can we use to shorten this code? Because we don't want to have this 10 times or 11 times. We can use a repeat. Now this time, I'm adding to a list, so I know exactly how many times I want it to, how many numbers I want to put in. I'm starting at 0, and then I'm going up to, I think I have to include 10 as well. Yes, so that, how many numbers is that? Well, because it's 0 as well, that means there's 11 numbers. So we want to change this to repeat 11 times. I want to add 11 numbers to my list. And this is going to happen very fast. Maybe if I put a weight in, just so we can see it happening step by step a little bit more. If I start it, now it's going through and it's adding all the numbers from the list. Hopefully it stops at 11. But sorry, at 10, a length of 11 I meant. Yep, so it's put all the numbers from 0 up to 10 into the list. Okay, so once you've done the task before, that one's actually not too bad. So that's 5.3 done. Now we're going on to the challenge tasks. So it's going to take a bit more time. So write a program that makes the character sing, as in it just says, using the say block, Old MacDonald had a farm, using a list to store all of the animals, and another list to store all of their sounds. So this one is more tricky. And not just because I have to try and remember now, off the top of my head, the song Old MacDonald Had a Farm. But let's break it down. First of all, we need 2 lists. And my list isn't going to be called numbers, so I'm going to delete that one. So I need a list of animals. And I need a second list of their sounds. Okay. So what animals am I going to have in my list? Well, I can't remember what Old MacDonald goes like. But let's say I had a cow, a pig, a duck. And we'll just do 3 for now, because otherwise I have to keep thinking of more animals and their sounds. I'm not an expert on animals and their sounds. So a cow goes moo. Pig will go for oink, and duck quack. Okay, so it's important with this task that you actually put them in the same order. Otherwise, you'll have a pig going quack and a cow going oink. Okay, you make sure that they match up. So number 1 matches up with the number 1 sound there. And now, I've got my lists. I need my character to start singing something. So what's the first thing they say in the song? Old MacDonald had a farm. I don't even know how you spell this. E-I-E-I-O. Okay. And then the next line, they say, and on that farm, he had a something. So this is where the animal comes in. And I've realized, because I've got some text, and I'm going to have an animal from my list, I'm going to need to have a join block to join them both together. So I'm going to copy this text that I've done already. And I'm going to paste it into the first box. I'm going to make sure I put a space at the end of that text. So there's a space before I put the variable name in, or the animal. And now you're probably used to putting in a variable name here. Let me go to full screen. I don't know why I'm not doing it full screen. But this time, instead of putting a variable name in, because the only variable I have at the moment is count, what I'm going to need to do is use item of animals. Okay. And which animal do we want to say? Well, we actually want to say the count. We're going to count through the list. We're going to start with cow, then pig, then duck. So I also need to make sure that my count is set to 1 because we're starting at number 1 in the list, so that it makes sure it says that the first time. On that farm, he had a cow. I forgot to put E-I-E-I-O on the end. Okay, I can't be bothered to do that. You can do that at home. And then the next part, with an, and then you see that sounds, isn't it? So, with an. This is quite hard actually, because you have to put in a lot of different joins. Let's see. With a moo there and a moo with a. Right, let's build it up. So I need. How many joins? With a moo there and a moo there everywhere. Ugh. This is more of an annoying line of code than I imagined it would be. With a moo there and a moo there, here and there. Okay, you could spend more time figuring out exactly the semantic or the sentence you want, but I'm just going to leave it as this with a. So the sound's going to go in here, and another sound in there. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. Okay. Now, you might realize that I've done something wrong on purpose there. So, the first line, saying that's fine. Then we say, and on that farm he had a, and it's the animal. But the next line, should it be saying with a cow and a cow? Or should it be saying something else? Because this is the animals list I'm looking at. I'm looking at item count, which is 1, of animals. What I want to be looking at here is I want to be saying the sound that it makes. So I need to change this to be sounds. And this one too. And then we just repeat that last one. Okay. To end the first verse. So, I've done the first one. It's going to say cow. Well, let's just test it. Oh, MacDonald had a farm. Yeah. Farm, he had a cow. With a moo with a moo there and a moo there. Okay. I missed out a space somewhere as well there. Okay, so it did the animal and it did the noise. Now we just need to do it for the rest of the things in the list. So, to do that, I need to make sure that each time I change the count by 1. Otherwise, it'll just do the cow every time. And I want to repeat all of these say blocks and this change count as well. And how many times do I want to repeat them? Well, it's going to be how many animals do I have. So I'm going to need the length of the list. So again, I'm using this length of animals block. Doesn't matter if you choose animals or sounds there because they both have the same length as long as you've put an animal and every animal has a sound. And if he clicks go, we'll just watch him sing the song. So there's a cow, and the cow moves. The count is changed to 2. This time it's the pig, and it oinks. And the third time it's a duck, and it quacks. Okay, so that's a very rubbish version of Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but the program is all there. It's just the actual song that I've gone and messed up. Okay, and the last challenge task, 5.5, we've got write a program that has a list of questions and a list of answers and ask the user these randomly. So it's going to ask us questions randomly, and then the user has to answer. If the user is correct, the character should say correct. If not, it should say that they were wrong. And we've got a little extension at the end to try adding a score variable, which increases every time they are right. Okay, so basically we're making a quiz, and it's going to be a random question. So it's going to ask the questions randomly, so not in any order. Okay, so I am going to get rid of this code. We'll start from the bottom again because it'll just help you practice making lists and building up the same blocks, because it's the same similar concepts we're using in all these tasks. Just to practice doing that, I'm going to delete the lists, and we're going to need to have a list of questions and a list of answers. So I'm making a list answers, and I can put in here maybe I'll just do maths questions for now. You can do other questions. So 5 plus 5, 10 times 2, 3 times 6. I'm going to be challenging myself. I put an asterisk there. Let's change that. 10 divided by 2. And 5 times 5. Okay, now I need to make sure that my questions match my answers. So 5 plus 5 is 10. You have to make sure you're right here, otherwise they might answer it right and you've put the wrong answers in yourself. So 10 times 2 is 20. 3 times 6 is 18. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. So those are the only possible answers to those questions on the left. Okay, you need to make sure when you make the questions and answers that they're very simple to write. They should be short answers so that they can't make any mistakes spelling, or they're less likely to make spelling mistakes and typos. But also make sure that there's only one possible answer. If you ask, what is your favorite color, then users can have loads of different favorite colors. There's no right or wrong really there. So make sure there's only one possible answer to the questions. So closed questioning, teachers would call it. Okay, so what we need to do now is program it so that they ask the questions randomly and then the user gets to answer. So what we're going to need here, we need to first figure out how we're going to ask a random question. Now, you're already used to asking a question. You use this blue sensing block, ask. But what's in here is not always going to be the same. It's going to be randomly picked from these questions here. So what we need to do here is a couple of steps. We need to first make a variable that picks a random number between 1 and 5. There's 5 questions. So I'm going to need to make a variable. I'm just going to call it random. And then just before I ask the question, I need to set the random number to the variable to, in operators, pick random between 2 values. So I want it to pick one of these questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't want it to be predictable. I want it to pick up random, so I don't know which one it's going to pick. But it needs to be between 1 and 5. So I could change it to 5 like this, but remember the issue you might have later on. You decided actually you want to have 10 questions instead. You'd have to go back and change this. Otherwise it would only still ask the first 5 questions. So to fix that, remember what we do is we use the length of the list. So this red block, length of answers or questions. It's up to you which one you pick. Let's put questions. So that it always picks one of the questions in the list, no matter how long that list is. Okay, once we've set the random number, then, so that's just literally all that does. If you look at random, it just sets it to a number. So it's number 3. Now, how do we get it to ask question number 3 from the question list? We can't just do ask random, because all it's going to do is ask the number 3. If I put that in there, if I click play, it's literally just asking. Random is number 5, and it's asked 5. So we need to make it ask the question number 5. So to do that, what you need to do is look at your list, because that's where the question is, the blocks for the list. We need to ask item random of questions. Okay, so the random number was 5, so it's going to ask item 5 of questions, which is going to be this question here, 5 times 5. If I click restart though, it's going to pick a different random number probably. Let's see. Oh no, it picked 5 again. So it's now asking question 5, so item 5 of questions. Okay, so that's how you ask a random question. Now, what we need to do is make sure that the user gets it right. So we need to check if their answer is the same as the correct answer in the list of answers. But we also want to do something if they get it wrong. So there's 2 possibilities here. We want, if they get it right, we say correct. If they get it wrong, then we say they are wrong. So we need 2 possibilities, not just 1. So not just an if, that wouldn't work. We would need to have an if else. So if they are right, what we need to check is if the answer, so this blue answer block, remember, is whatever the user types in response to the question. So if the answer is equals to, and it needs to be whatever the answer is that matches the question. So it needs to be item random of answers. Because if I asked question 5, if random was 5, I need to check, is it the same as item 5 of answers? So if I just copy and paste, duplicate this block and change it to the answers list, does it match up? Okay, if it does, the character can say something. It can say correct. If it doesn't match up, if they haven't got the right answer, then in here we can say not quite, or something like that. You are wrong, however mean you want to be. And that would work. Now at the moment, it's only going to ask 1 question. So if I wanted to do it forever, easy way to do this is put everything inside a forever loop. Let's test it just to make sure it is doing what I think it is doing. 10 divided by 2, what is the answer? It is 5. Press enter, he says correct. And it's picked a random question again. This time it's picked question 3. 3 times 6, well, that's 18. Okay, and you might be thinking, the problem here is, it's asking me questions, but I can see all the questions and all the answers. What if I don't want them on the screen? Because we don't want the user to be able to see them. Well, if you go to your variables block, and down here, just like you can turn on and off variables so they don't display on the screen, you can do the same with lists, so you can hide them by clicking these 2 buttons here. Okay, there's also a block called hide list and show list. That if at certain points in your game, maybe you wanted to show the list and at some point you wanted to hide it, you can use that. So I tend to use it if I got a high score table in games. You want that to appear at the end, or if they click show high scores, then you can use its blocks. It's quite useful. Okay, and last thing I forgot was, yes, extension. So there was an extension in the task. Try adding a score variable, which increases every time they are right. So the very last thing to try and do is make a variable for your score. And when we start the game, we want to set the score to 0. And remember, this needs to be outside the forever. You don't want to keep repeating. Every time it goes through, it goes back to 0. You answer the question, it goes back to 0. Okay. So we just do it at the start. And then when we get it right, which is this branch of the if, where it says correct, we can change score by 1. If you put it here, it will do it after he said correct. If you put it here, it'll do it immediately and then as he says correct. So I tend to put it before the say. So it doesn't wait 2 seconds before it changes the score. So let's test that. 5 plus 5 is 10. Correct, and I've got a point. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Correct, and I've got a point. Okay. If I reset, my score goes back to 0. So everything's working. And that is how you can make a really cool quiz game. It doesn't take too much code. The only really tricky part is this random part. And just to show you something, just so you're careful about this in future, there's a very good reason I've used the random variable. You might be thinking, why couldn't I just put ask that pick random number in there? So pick a random number and I ask that. Well, the reason I've done that is once you do that twice, oh, that didn't really matter, did it? So in there, the problem here is it's picking 2 different random numbers. Whereas before it just picked 1 and we used the same random number for both. Here, it's picking a random number when it asks the question, and then it's picking what could be a different random number when it checks the answer. So they probably won't match up here. So if I just show you, 5 times 5 should be 25. Let's see if it actually does match up. No, so it didn't. So that's why you need to use the random variable to do this. Oh, did I miss something there? No, that's it. Okay, so that's the tasks. I will be doing another video on how to make functions, which are pretty cool things. And probably the most tricky things to get used to in programming. Well, I certainly thought they were when I started learning. But once you understand them, they are some of the most powerful programming tools you can use to make your programs much more efficient and just give you more control over what you can do. Okay, so tune in for that one if you want to learn a bit more about functions.